Welcome, my constant reader friends. I'm Tad, and this is Tad Reads Books and Stuff. All right, so in this video, we're going to continue with my Saga series. Of course, I am doing this as a read-along with Grozz and the GKBC. Please check out his channel. He does a great job, oftentimes discussing things I don't discuss and really giving a little bit more information on those different things. I kind of basically just do an overview of each chapter that we read. We always do 6 chapters at a time, and then sit down and make our individual videos. I hope you check them out. So this is chapters 43 through 48. Now, in book 3, there will be 6 more chapters remaining after this video, and we are going to take a break with this series. Both of us really want to continue this series, but through this, venue, through this hardback compilation type novel. Now, they took a long break after the 3rd book, and they are back writing new stories, new issues in the Saga series, but they're only like around 60 or so issues, and book 4 isn't out, and I'm sure it'll be a while before book 4 comes out. So we're going to take a break after we finish book 3, just to let you know if you're following along. All right, so I'm going to start reading. I took some notes here, and we'll start, of course, with chapter 43. All right, let me see if I can find something that I can show you represented. I mean, as you know, this book is really irreverent. It goes all over the place. I use the word beautiful chaos. And sometimes it's not safe for work, some of the drawings and artwork in here. But here we start off, chapter 43. We see a picture of Alana dressed as a cowboy in our cowboy getup on looks like a colorful zebra horse. But over here, this is where it starts. It says, "Welcome to Abortion Town." Yeah, so if you remember, the last time we spoke, Alana could no longer feel the movement of her child anymore. She had an accident and had fallen, and her baby boy is now deceased, but still inside of her. And in this universe, she just can't have the baby. She can't have a stillborn. She has to go and have an abortion. She has to have it removed from her body. Now, unfortunately, they go to this new planet, and on this planet they have this abortion town. So she makes up this ruse, and she gets the help of Prince Robot Ford to help her. They're going to go to Abortion Town and give them a story of why she needs to have an abortion. Well, unfortunately, there are laws in this universe as well as laws in our world about abortions, and they can't do it. The laws state that, unfortunately, she's like 8 months now along carrying this fetus in her, and there's laws, and she can't have an abortion. However, she is told, if you want to go to the other side of the planet, into the Badlands, yeah, everything's kind of, Western, old Western style here. If you go into the Badlands, you probably will be able to find an unscrupulous surgeon or backroom surgeon who will, take your money and remove the fetus for you. But it's against the law. All right, so they decide they're gonna, she gets pissed off. She doesn't know about that. They're gonna go back now to the group, and we have a little bit of a recap. Hazel, is the storyteller, and she does a little recap of what's gone on. Kind of just giving me a little bit of nostalgia. I'm wondering when I'm reading this if, Fiona Staples and Michael K. Vaughan had already decided that they were going to take a hiatus after they reach a certain point, and they felt necessary to, slow down this action and give us a little recap of what was going on. It was interesting, of course, but I did find these 6 stories, these six chapters, to be a little bit more of putting on the brakes, slowing down a little bit the pace of this craziness that's been going on, that we've been reading for weeks now. So I thought that was interesting. So if you've been watching along, you have realized that nothing is sacred in these novels. Nothing is forbidden. Nothing is off limits. They touch upon all kinds of social issues in this book. And one of them is transgenders. So Hazel has a discussion with Petrichor, who is transgendered, and asks her about her penis, which was funny as hell. It started putting Petrichor getting a little nervous, and she asked her about nipples and things. It's interesting, but Alana comes in and saves the day. Petrichor's like, whew, thank God, your mom's here. Anyways, moving ahead. Then we meet, the group gets attacked by poop people. Yeah. There's, when they were cleaning out the, I guess, septic tank of the spaceship, their excrement interacted with some microbes on the planet and created these poop people. Of course, the poop people looked like the people like Alana and Marco, but made it was funny as hell. But they start attacking them. That's a gross way to be attacked. But Alana destroys them. She finds out that she has magic all of a sudden. So in this universe, of course, the horns have magic, but the wings don't. But since Alana has a horn baby in her still, even though it's deceased, it is giving her magical powers. So she uses her magical powers and gets rid of the shit, I guess. Oh, man. But even though this fetus is giving her these magical powers, it's got to come out. It's going to eventually kill her. So we got to get it out. All right, let's move on to the next chapter. All right, so now in chapter 44, Marco and Alana, they've got to do something. They've got to get this dead fetus out of her, and they decide to go to the Badlands and find what they're calling a renegade doctor, someone to do the deed. So they head off. They're going to go now to the Badlands. All right, so now we switch to the Badlands, and we discover this family. I'm calling them, they're bandits or desperados or whatever cool Western name you can call them. They're basically out there, and they ambush people that are actually going to the Badlands, I guess, to find a way to get an abortion, or and they hijack them and steal from them and sometimes kill them, which they do here. But they're interesting as hell. So it's a family. It's a father who's a human and a mother who's a centaur. Yeah, she's a centaur. Female body on the top, horse on the bottom. They have a son. Yeah. And the son is, I'm not going to say he's a centaur. I don't know if he's considered a centaur. He's half man, like half horse. It's a full horse with a head and everything, legs, tail and everything. But where a man would sit on the horse, the man's body comes out of the horse, and he has his full body except for like his legs. So I don't know if that's called a centaur or not. But anyways, yeah, they're a mixed family and interesting. So then now we flash back to Hazel and Marco. Oh, I'm sorry, Alana and Marco, and Hazel's with them. And they're going to jump a train. So you've got an old, like a train heist in a Western movie. It's kind of cool. It's fun. It really is. It's fun. They jump on this train, and then they get down in the train. They're going to ride it to the end. And they fall asleep, and some weird dreams happen. Things I can't show you, of course. Not safe for work. But anyways, Alana has this dream of her unborn child, which is a boy, coming to life. She wakes up, not knowing where she is. She's in this train, like a cargo train, and she sees this boy standing in front of her. She thinks it's a dream, but it isn't. But he's not corporeal. Bleh. He's not solid. He's a ghost. He's like projected, because of her magic. She's kind of projected this image of her fetus as a little boy, a young boy, a little bit around Hazel's age. And he's there, and he's talking to them. They all wake up. Marco wakes up, Hazel wakes up, and they all see him. He's there. And he starts accompanying them on their journey. We flash back to Petrichor. Petrichor is having some issues. And she decides that the only way to, take care of her issues is to kill herself. Well, she's standing out there with a sword and cutting her wrists, but not really committed to it. But she gets spied by these desperados, these family of horse people, whatever they are. And they see her, and she's like was left behind to guard the ship, I guess. Prince Robot had taken off again. Who knows where the hell he went. And so they're going now to, these desperados are going to attack her. All right. So let's move on to the next chapter. So we're looking at Petrichor, and she didn't kill herself, but she's really depressed. She really is lonely. She's feeling it, but she's just sitting there reading one of the D. Oswald heist bodice rippers that Alana and Marco had taken from his home when they're on his planet. So now they're all reading it. Everybody's reading these books. And while she's reading that, she gets, the desperados show up and say, "Step out, come out with your hands up," kind of thing. And so she comes out now, and she's being confronted by these desperados. She, being Petrichor, being a badass, is going to, probably try to fight them, take them on. Of course, she gets overpowered. She gets wrapped up in these tendrils and and gets like slung up. She's like hanging from a tree now. We flash back to Alana and Marco and Hazel and the ghost, and they're traveling now through the Badlands and having some discourses, talking back and forth. It's interesting, but they do see, I think, a house off in the distance, and they believe that's where they need to go. We go back to Petrichor. Petrichor's hanging, you know, she's tied up and she's hanging, and the centaur, the mother, comes and gets real close and gets in her face. They want some information, and you know, who are you with, things like that. How much money do you have? You know, they're desperados. And Petrichor reaches down and rips her nose off the centaur. And of course, that's not good because she's tied up and now they're going to kill her. But lo and behold, who shows up but Prince Robot 4? Yes, he comes up and he saves the day. He saves the life of Petrichor. Flashback now back to Alana and I know we're all over the place. Marco and Alana and Hazel and this little boy ghost who he's calling himself Curdy. Of course, after Hazel's little gopher friend or whatever. So he's calling himself Curdy, and Alana just collapses and basically dies. Marco gets Hazel to use magic. Because she's younger, her magic isn't going to be as strong. He needs to like shock her, you know, like you know, get the paddles and shock her back into life. But since Hazel's smaller, her magic will be a little weaker. He gets her, she says the words and brings down some lightning. A weak bolt of lightning hits Alana and, of course, resuscitates her and brings her back to life. Yay! All right, let's go to the next chapter. Oh, now we're back on chapter 46. And Prince Robot 4 saves the day, but he doesn't kill the desperados. He injures them, but he's changed a little bit. If you saw him from the beginning, he probably normally would have just slaughtered them and killed them, but he doesn't, and he lets them go. They run away. Thank you, Prince Robot 4. So he cuts down Petrichor, and then Petrichor, you know, being the tough bitch that she is, she's like, I didn't need you to save me, blah, blah, blah. She gets real in his face, and they start arguing and stuff. And of course, you can start to feel some sexual tension building. All right, let's go back to Marco and Hazel and Alana. They are now finally coming up to the house that they saw in the distance, and here comes the doctor. The doctor greets them. The doctor looks scary as hell. The doctor is a female wolf, but you know, like everyone else in this universe, stands on two legs, is, you know, more humanized. Has blood and gore all on her hands because she says she'd never cleaned up after her last operation. She's got 6 saggy teats hanging down. As we find out, she has a bunch of cubs that she had just fed that are asleep in the house. And she brings them to the house to perform an abortion. We go back to Prince Robot 4 and Petrichor, and they start talking. You know, they're having this argument, but there's sexual tension. You can feel it. And he says, hey, don't, you know, I know what your problem is. I know you're transgendered or hermaphrodite. I know these things. I can sense these things. Don't think that you're keeping a secret from anybody. Maybe the others don't know, but I know. You have nothing to worry about with me. And matter of fact, he says here, I've always been a little fluid myself. We've seen some crazy shit with Prince Robot 4 and the things that he's done. So, what's going to happen here? I don't know. We don't know. We're going to switch back to Dr. Wolf and Marco. Alana's now on a slab, going to be ready, prepping for surgery. There's a female elephant, you know, on another slab. They're wondering if it's dead. The doctor says, no, it's, you know, a lot of times it takes a lot out of you when I'm performing abortions for certain reasons. And then they get into this whole discourse about, I don't know, the right to life, abortion. Again, a lot of social commentary, a lot of social issues discussed in the pages of this comic book. And now one of the main ones is transgendered and abortions, and why some people have to, for medical reasons, get abortions, things like that. We're not going to get into that discussion, but they have a bit of a discourse on that. They switched to upstairs because of the surgery is going to take place down in the basement. Hazel and Curdy have stayed up in the living room with the sleeping cubs, and they start talking and they become close, and this is my brother, but you're not really my brother, you're a ghost, and I know what a ghost is because of Isabel, and different things like it. It's kind of sweet. It's touching, this relationship that they're establishing. But you could tell as the abortion is taking place, Curdy disappears. He's gone. We quickly go back to Petrichor and Prince Robot 4. They are getting drunk, and of course we know what that's going to lead to. At the end of the chapter, we see, let me see if I can find it for you. And that's crazy. I really turned pretty much close to it. Doesn't seem like it, does it? But this happens. Yep, Prince Robot 4 and Petrichor are going to get it on, of course. I think it's cool. I have no problems with it. So, that's the end of chapter 46. Let's move on to chapter 47. And so, finally, in chapter 47, we have a chapter concerning the will. So the will, as you remember from last time, was kidnapped by this, it appears to be a woman in a costume. You can't see her face or anything. She's now got him strung up and got these wires connected to him. And what they do is they can project his memories. Not, our made up memories that we longingly remember, but the actual, actually being there. She can see what happened. And she's going through these, I think, trying to find people in his life that he loves. And so she can go kill them like he killed her love. So apparently the will killed her husband or boyfriend when he was on Sextillion. So this guy was one of the guards, the 3 security guards on Sextillion that he killed way back. And he says, yeah, he must have been a piece of crap if he was on Sextillion, because they use and abuse children. Oh, my husband would never do that. Well, he was. And if you want, watch the memory. You'll see what's going on. She doesn't want any part of that. We do see some really cool backstories, though. We do see one of his memories is of his father when he was with his sister, of course, Sophie, and they're young, and the father is a piece of crap. The father is going to start beating them. He's really mean. He's despicable. And then all of a sudden their uncle shows up, their uncle on their mother's side, and he's a freelancer. He's a bounty hunter. And he dispatches of the father with an axe. Interesting. So that's where maybe the Will got the idea to be, you know, a freelancer himself. So that was a cool memory. Then we see a memory of him fighting off these creatures. They look like aliens, with the stalk. And we see a little bit of their interaction, their how they kind of became involved. Of course, the stalk is already dead, so it's not going to help this captor out very much to find somebody to punish, because she's already dead. But eventually we get to a memory of Gwendolyn. And we see that the Will is in love with Gwendolyn and does care about her. And we see a cool scene with them. And that gives, you know, oh, now I know, now the captor knows who she can go after. And she says, we're going to go. We're going. And he goes, I'm not going to let you, blah, blah, blah. Nothing you can do about it. They're already in the ship. And the ship, they show us, the ship looks like a jellyfish flying through space. So, didn't get much of the Will or the stalk or Gwendolyn in this story. But it was interesting. So, we saw that. And next to the last chapter, 48. Now, in chapter 48, we finally go back to Goose. So now we're with the group Goose and Friendo, you know, the walrus pet, Upshur and his boyfriend or husband, you know, the reporters, I can't remember his name, and of course Squire, the young son of Prince Robot. So they've been stranded on this planet waiting for, you know, Prince Robot and Marco and Alana and everybody to come back, and they're starving. They didn't leave them apparently with enough food, and they don't know what to do, but they do talk about this creature called a dreadnought and hearing it nearby. Maybe if we could kill one of these, we'd have some food to eat. Well, the problem with the dreadnoughts are they're invisible. You can't see them until they're dead. So they've heard it around, but Goose, you know, has this big axe. He's like, well, I don't know. Maybe we can just trap it somehow. And Squire says, what are you talking about? I can see it. And Goose is like, what? Well, these television heads apparently can see this dreadnought being, but it's interesting. They can only see like the insides of it. So they can see like the veins, you know, and the heart, and for some reason they can see the eyeballs, and so Goose says, oh, that's helpful. He doesn't want to bring Squire because he's sworn to protect Squire. But since Squire can see these things, they eventually decide to go off and hunt one. So they go off, they're tramping through the woods, and there's a lot of discourse and discussion with them and stuff, and eventually they track one down. It's pretty cool, and Goose is going to kill him, but the creature grabs Goose and throws him away and takes his axe and snaps it in half, and they're trembling, and Goose is like, you have to do it, you have to do it. So Squire's got his little bow and arrow, and he's going to kill this creature, and he can't do it. He looks in his eyes, and he just can't do it. So we're seeing, oh, okay, so maybe Squire isn't going to be as bloodthirsty and almost uncaring, evil, kind of as his father was originally. His father's growing. His father's changing. And we see that Squire just can't pull it off. He can't kill the monster, and the monster sulks away, gets away. it looks like now they're going to starve. Prince Squire keeps, you know, apologizing to Goose as they're making their way back to camp, and lo and behold, they get to camp and they're there. The ship is there. His father, Marco, Hazel, Alana, everybody's there. Everyone's excited. They're actually handing out food, so now they're able to eat. You do see a little reaction of Prince Robot 4, happy to see his son, but not affectionately, not hugging him and oh my gosh, or crying or anything. Just, how have you been, son? kind of thing. And it's noticed. He does start talking about Petrichor, but they kind of, you know, move away from that. At the end, Hazel meets Squire, and they join hands and run off. And the last scene, she says, I've found a brother. So you can see another social discussion in this. Can people of other races or religion or the way you look, can you love each other? Can you be friends? Can we in the universe do this? All right, that's it. That's the end. That's the end of chapter 48. Again, we've got 6 more left in this book. I hope that you are checking out Grozz's channel. Please check it out. Again, he always does, he's going to discuss maybe some things that I missed or didn't discuss, or he'll get a little bit more in depth and understand maybe some of the meanings behind some of the things in a different way than what I do. I think that's the fun thing about doing a buddy read. You kind of you're reading the same thing, but sometimes you pick out something different, or you read it a different way, or you have a different feeling of it. And that's been the fun thing about this this saga read through that we've been doing. I hope if you found anything enjoyable in my video, you like and subscribe. And like I say always, please write as many comments as you can. I love it. I enjoy it. Please hit up Grozz. Give him comments as well. I would appreciate it. All right, guys. Until next time, peace out.